Hi everybody, welcome back to Sending Ravens. How's everybody doing? I'm doing good. We had another beautiful day. I'm expecting the snow any minute though. You can kind of just feel it's coming. The cold is coming, you can feel it, and that's okay. This is the time for snow. It's okay. Mid-December. I want to have a look at some Canadian politics. Our premier in our province, Alberta, did a very interesting thing. He spoke out against what they call the Great Reset, right? And he actually said some truths. So that was fascinating. Jason Kenney, I'm not going to say what I think about Jason Kenney. I don't know too much about. To be honest, I honestly don't follow Canadian politics. I know. You can be mad at me. I don't know why, but I follow the US politics closer. I don't know, even the UK politics I follow closer. So, beat me up or whatever, but that's just the way it is. I'm just like that. But I did notice that in the news. That was fascinating. So I want to look at him, Jason Kenney, and just look all around. What was that all about? Is he really actually on the good guy's side? Or is this part of the big show we're watching? So we're going to look around Alberta politics, Canadian. We'll also look at what the heck's Justin Trudeau up to, because the last time I looked, it looks like he was under house arrest. And honestly, I hope so, because he's a scary, scary guy connected to a very scary family. And another thing I wanted to have a look at, in the world, is this very interesting situation. So I saw this woman, they're putting on the news in the UK. A 91-year-old woman was going to be the first one to get the jab, one of the flu shots that's come out. This is what I understand was going on. Now, somebody else emailed me and said that person died in 2008, so that this was false news. But what can you believe anymore? We can't believe, we don't know, right? Maybe they're just using her image. I don't know. Why are they putting that in the news, that this woman is going to, and the really interesting thing is she was making the Illuminati symbol with her hands while they were, people in masks were taking her in a wheelchair to go get her shot. So I just want to look around. Was that just a big gimmick? Was that false? Was that a real person? Is that really the woman they said it was? Is that all just a big facade? Like, what's really going on there? And we'll just look all around that. So let's start with Jason Kenney. And what's he up to? Speaking out against the Great Reset. Is that really from his heart, or did somebody put him up to it? Or what's going on? Is he on the good guy's side? Is he actually a better person than it appears that he is? Don't forget though, the people that told us he was so bad was the mainstream media. So I'm starting to think everybody I thought was bad is maybe good, and everybody I thought was good is actually really bad. So yeah, I don't know what to believe. So we're gonna just see what the cards say. I don't really care what, people are always telling me, oh, why didn't you Google that and find out about, if you Google something, you're literally looking at what mainstream media says about it. So how is that research? So all the people yelling that I should do more research can go stick their research, because most of the research we do is on Google and or some kind of drive like that. I know there's really cool red-pilled people that research way deeper than that, but we have to remember that all things written down somewhere or have been recorded somewhere were recorded by other humans. So in what reality, in the way we're looking at things in 2020, is that legitimate? It's not legitimate. I don't care who said what. My real research is asking my cards. Okay, so seriously, don't tell me to do my research. I'm getting really fed up with that. In the comments, I'll take your comment off, because research, what does that mean? History is all made up by people. The people that won the war, the people that want to spin, it's all spin. Everything's spin. So real research is what I do. I go to source. That's what I say. Yeah, go to source. That's honestly, we're going to learn that in 2020. We're going to learn source is our only real research. Really just go inward and feel something and trust. You're going to have to learn to trust yourself and get connected to source again if you're not, and trust your instincts and your intuition and your tools if you have any tools like tarot, astrology, tools like that. You're going to have to trust those kind of things, spiritual tools, and that's going to take personal work. And I've been doing mine for years and years and years. Like literally, this is what I sleep, eat, and think 24/7 for 35 years is tarot and astrology. Okay, so that's my research. Okay, so let's have a look. Jason Kenny, what the heck's up with you? Interesting. He doesn't look connected to the dark dastardly cult, according to me anyway. He doesn't even look connected to deep state, which I know are, one and the same. I went down another interesting rabbit hole, and I'm sure lots of people have already been down this one. If you're watching my videos, you've probably been down the rabbit hole of the whole Cain and Abel story, the whole blue blood, red blood story, the whole there's two bloodlines on the earth plane. I'm sure there could even be more than that, but there's two for sure. So there's the blue bloods, which makes sense, and even all the references to blue bloods and us calling elites and people born into sort of elite families blue bloods is kind of interesting. So it's a way deep rabbit hole to look into. But Jason Kenny here looks kind of like a regular blood, like a red blood to me. And he doesn't look like he's connected to those yucky families we talk about. Trudeau is absolutely a blue blood and comes from a long line of blue bloods, even if his dad's Fidel Castro, which is very, what I think anyway, and what my card said he was, even if his dad isn't Pierre Elliott Trudeau, that whole family was deeply involved in and still is, I'm sure, in the dark cult. So he's definitely a blue blood. But this Jason Kenny guy, he kind of looks like a regular guy. And we've got the 5 of Swords. So his intention around saying what he said was he's kind of fed up with something. He looks like he's really fed up and he thinks for himself. He's kind of he's got a big sense of self, which there's nothing wrong with that. Trump always gets this card too. He's got a big sense of himself, so brings a big presence to his energy. I don't know, I've never met him, so I'm just reading the cards, right? So if you disagree, right, whatever, you can tell me all about it. But I'm getting that he's got a big energy, powerful kind of energy, whether people like him or not. He's very independent, and he's incredibly concerned about what he considers his community. So he's angry that his community is being, shut down financially, it looks like. So he's actually doing his job as a premier. To me, he's doing his job. He's actually saying, I don't agree with this agenda. So I'm actually thinking he's all right. He's come up a notch in my books. He's come up a notch. And don't forget, most of what we hear about these people is through mainstream. So if the mainstream media is talking smack about a politician, it might be because they're good, right? That's what I'm figuring out, right? Look what they did to Trump for 4 years straight. Okay, so we've got the 8 of Wands. He's concerned about the future and either his own children, if he has children. I have no clue if he has children, so chime in if you know. Or he's actually concerned about other people's children, so going forward, so generations going forward. He's actually concerned about the financial condition that's created with this whole pandemic. That's what he looks like. He's worried about it. He's concerned about the future. He's concerned about what he considers his community. So actually, and I'm not saying he's a perfect person or anything, but he looks like that comment, at least, and what he said about he doesn't trust the agenda, and he doesn't trust what they call the reset, and to rethink that. I thought that was great that he said that, and it looks like it came from a truth and or his own research, his own feelings about it. Yeah, so I'm liking him. I'm liking him a little bit better. Let's look at this woman in the UK. So this woman in the UK, she's 91. I forget her name now, but they had her in the news. Now again, in the news, so it could all be false, right? So if anybody knows anything about that, let me know. I just want to know, what was that? If it was a stunt, which it most likely was, why on earth was she making the Illuminati symbol? She was making the high up Masonic symbol with her hands. Was that just a Photoshop? Did somebody just put that together? What's going on there? Is that all facade? Did she really get what people are calling the jab? What's going on there? Because obviously they're they're trying to hoodwink the general population into getting this supposed mark of the beast. Some people are calling it the mark of the beast. And I really hope what I got before was that a lot of this would dissipate as soon as things got overturned in what appears to be the US election. What appears to be going on right now just gets shifted around, and the truth starts coming out in a big way that it was clearly won by Donald Trump's team. I'm thinking that's when everything starts to dissipate around what they're calling the cure. We'll just call it the cure on this channel, or the jab. Some people are calling it the jab. And I believe that even when Trump's team talks about it and the way he talks about it, it could be code. But then other people, of course, think that he's going to turn on everybody and he's actually also one of the bad guys, which would mean, if that's true, that there's no hope for humanity and we're all kind of screwed. So I really hope that's not true. And what I'm getting, to be fair, is I don't get that. And I actually get there's goodness there, and he's at least backed up by some really good people that actually care about the human race and the part of the race, at least the let's say the red blood part of the race, maybe not the blue bloods. And maybe go look into what I'm talking about there, the original story of Cain and Abel. It's absolutely fascinating. Cain killed his brother Abel. They were twins. Like, just short version, it's a biblical story, but it's absolutely fascinating because apparently Cain came from the serpent seed. So the original sin wasn't eating an apple. It was Eve having sexual relations with a serpent, as well as Adam. So the original sin was fornicating outside of her committed relationship, which fascinating. Here they are blaming it on the feminine again. So that part I didn't really like, actually. But anyway, they were blaming it on Eve right from the get-go, if you believe the story of Adam and Eve and the apple. So that story, really, when you examine it, could actually be talking about, just in code, that she lie with the serpent, right? So she was fooled by the serpent. Anyway, she got pregnant with twins from two fathers, and one of them was, a Luciferian and or / satanic. So that started two bloodlines. Human race has two bloodlines, the blue bloods, and there's much more red bloods, actually. And the red bloods come from Adam, apparently. And that inside us, we have a war going on that's actually become the spiritual war that's actually in the world right now. So the war between good and evil, and it goes on inside of us until we choose to be, the good side of ourselves. And I kind of get that. I kind of get what they're saying there. So we evolve and keep choosing the better part of ourselves and better intentions and evolving as a human. And then, of course, or we could go the very dark side of ourselves. Anyway, that's a whole other rabbit hole. Let's have a look at this woman and or this whole advertising scheme is what it kind of looked like. where they're wheeling this 91-year-old to get her, you know, jab by the mark of the beast, right? And she's making the sign of the beast. So that's fascinating. The serpent sign. So many ways you could say that. So it's all very suspicious. So let's have a look. So that looked like a big advertising stunt. So that was created. That feels like it was created. We've got a big ace in the middle. And I was asking about, I was actually slanting towards thinking it was a stunt, and I got an ace there, and I think it was a stunt. So I believe they put that together. That was put together. They wanted to use an elderly person because they're trying to get the elders to line up for this thing. Okay, so that's scary right there, because you know that these agendas that they roll out don't actually include elders. Those agendas do not include taking care of elderly people. It seems to me that a big part of the pandemic was to kind of get rid of a whole generation of people and to take out the middle class business-wise and to take the economy of the world to its knees. But on the kind of on the shoulders of the business class, so sort of the middle class, let's say the middle class. So everything about the pandemic seems to be focused on elderly people who are experiencing and or have preconditioned issues health-wise. So it's like these agendas don't include looking after elderly people or people with any kind of issues with their health, because they're the most vulnerable to this thing. And it feels like now they're trying to get those people to line up for this shot. So I highly recommend we tell our elders, if you can get through to them, not to line up for this thing. Absolutely. This is a stunt, and like what we were seeing with this 91. I don't have a clue who she actually was, but none of that looks real to me. It feels like that was also surrender to. They didn't give that jab, I gotta call it a jab, to anybody. That nobody actually got it. So that was just a photo op shoot with actors. That was all fake news. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know, when is it going to end? So yeah, don't pay attention to that. And let's practice not watching things like that, and or getting triggered by things like that, because it was very triggering actually when I saw the picture of the old lady getting, and then she's making that Illuminati symbol. I was triggered big time. Anyway, I think we're going to have to support each other and just remind each other just not to watch mainstream, and remember that vibrationally we create our destiny, and stay in the highest vibration of ourselves, in our loving, most, self-loving, but also heartfelt loving and unconditionally loving selves. Putting that kind of energy out there is what's going to keep us in a higher vibration, and visualizing how we want our future to look and not how it's looking like it could look. I think our biggest fears are manifesting in front of our eyes, and we can steer, and we've already steered largely away from those fears. So we have to stay the course and trust our higher universal selves to move through this very scary time. Thank you so much for watching my video, and please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Bye-bye.